should I be concerned for booktubers? Because I've seen, like, a lot of, like, booktubers when I was, like, big into, like, kind of watching booktube reviews, be like, oh, I read this cringy book talk book, so you don't have to. Or I read this book from Book Talk, so you don't have to, and I thought it was bad. Or I read all of this author's books, and yes, they're just as bad as you think. And it's like, first off, like, you know that you didn't have to do that, right? Like, if you didn't like one of the author's books, you didn't have to go through all the other ones to see, oh, well, yeah, I don't like this author. It confuses me, because, like, so many people on Booktube will bash, like, books on YouTube because, like, I mean, yeah, it probably gets some views, but, like, I don't really see them, like, pointing to books that they actually like instead. And, like, I guess I'm trying to say, it would be nice instead of saying, oh, don't read this book because I don't like it. It's weird. And, like, also just, like, I get the books can be cringy, but, like, so can people. And, like, just because, like, you think it's cringe doesn't mean that it's okay to bash people who actually like it and be like, oh, I don't know who would like this book. And it's like, and then, like, in the beginning, they'll throw oh, this isn't meant to, like, offend anyone, or, like, if you like it, then that's okay, and then, like, just seemingly bash the people who like it the entire time, and, like, bash a book, and it's just like, huh? And it kind of bothers me, because, like, I get that, like, you may like a book, or you may like a specific book, and other people might not like it, but, like, why go on the internet just to hate, like, and, like, then give no, like, reference to what you think is actually good? And then, like, a lot of people hate on, like, smart readers, and it's like, if that's not your category, then just say, oh, I don't like this category, and, like, move on with it. I guess I'm just, like, confused as to why, like, so many, like, booktubers will be like, oh, I don't like this book, and, like, give off a bajillion reasons why, and, like, just, like, I feel like there are better things to do with your time, and also, like, can't you find something good in the book, even if you don't like it? I feel like there has to be some good in the bad here, and, like, I get it, some books are really cringy, but, like, that's the fun of reading sometimes. Like, you get to be cringy and explore, like, the cringy part of yourself. Like, I've just, like, realized that, like, so many people hate on books from Book Talk, and it's like, if it's not your thing, just don't read it, I guess. And, like, I know I keep repeating the same thing over and over, but, like, it really doesn't make sense to me how, like, you can see a book and be like, oh, I don't think I'd like it. Read it all the way through, and then be like, oh, yeah, well, I hated it, and now I'm gonna go on the internet and say, oh, I hated it. And like, I get it. Some books are like intense and like also like I feel like people who like hate or dislike book talk are just like only seeing the like cringy book talkers who are like the ones who are off of their rockers, the ones who are like crazy and just like the ones who are like who will take things too far, and they're like, oh, that's how all book talk must be. And it's like, I guess it's just like everything else in that people will only like see like what they want to see in things, which isn't fair. Also, like, off topic, sort of, I feel like the book rating should be like updated. Cause like, yeah, maybe back in the day, Diary of a Wimpy Kid was like a literal middle school read. But like, I feel like that could be like a upper elementary school read, like maybe 3rd grade, but primarily like 4th and 5th grade reads, as well as like Percy Jackson being like a 4th and 5th grade read. And like what we consider as YA, I feel like could be what we consider YA could be moved up to like, or it moved to like middle school range. So I feel like books like Renegades and Heartless and like Girl in Pieces, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, I feel like those books can be really good for like middle schoolers. And I feel like books by like John Green or like the books that you would typically find in a YA section, or books like The Inheritance Games, I feel like those books would be really good like middle school reads for 6th to 8th grade. I feel like they'd be perfect for middle school readers who can relate to that sort of thing more. And then like once you get to like high school, you get more into like the, I don't really know how to explain it, but like I feel like what's considered as middle grades could be like upper elementary school grades, and like what's considered as young adult could be like middle and high school reads. And then like maybe some of the classics be like high school reads and stuff, you know? And then like, cause like I feel like high schoolers, like, okay, I know this is probably gonna be like a hot take, but like I feel like high schoolers are okay to read about like sex, not like full out like smut, like not that sort of thing, but like kind of like in The Perks of Being a Wallflower or The Fault in Our Stars, where like they're not getting like too intimate, but like I feel like that's okay for a high schooler to read, because like, you know, they're a high schooler, they're probably going to be learning about getting intimate. And like I feel like that would be like a good place to start, like The Perks of Being a Wallflower or like The Fault in Our Stars. I feel like those would be good like high school reads. And like 18 to 20, which is according to Google like young adult, like literal young adult ages, I think was 18 to 26, they can start, like, getting into, like, more of the, like, smut territory and all of that stuff. And it just... And people are like, oh, kids are too young to be reading smut. I mean, yeah, no, duh. And, like, it shouldn't be, like, advertised on TikTok. And I'm like, first of all, like, if your kid is seeing this, why... And if, like, kids are seeing and telling you, like, about this, why are you not, like, monitoring what they're, like, looking at? You know? Because, like, I feel like if my kid was telling me that they were seeing books about, like, intimate, like, sex, and it was, like, a book like Haunting Adeline, or, like, a book like Icebreaker or something, then I would try to, like, monitor what they watched more so they wouldn't see that, like, type of content. And second of all, why is your kid on TikTok in the first place? Like, I get that it's made for, like, ages 12 and up, and, like, their friends might have it, but, like, I feel like they can at least wait until they're, like, 15 or 16 to have TikTok, because, like, I feel like that would be a more appropriate age to have it than, you know, like, 12. And I know it's intended for 12-year-olds, but it's like, it's harder for you to control what your kid sees on, like, TikTok. And I know that they have, like, parental controls or whatever, but, like, still, like, the YouTube Kids app thing happened, and, like, you don't know what people are posting on there, and that's made for kids. So, like, you can't control what's gonna be on your kid's For You feed and what they see. So, like, like, if your kid has, like, Snapchat or something for family and friends, like, make sure that, like, your kid knows the safety of, like, social media. Because, like, I feel like a lot of people are quick to, like, judge kids for having social media and not be safe on it, when, like, in reality, their parents probably didn't, like, teach them. And, like, also, like, if parents aren't, like, monitoring, because, like, I had a conversation with someone, I think a couple of weeks ago, about how, like, kids are, like, reading books too mature for their age with, like, smut in it. And this person was like, oh, well, it's the creator's fault for putting it out there. And it's like, how is it the creator's fault when the parents aren't, you know, doing their job and, like, monitoring what their kid is, like, reading? So I saw a TikTok video, and I can't remember who the creator was, but, like, they did a good job in asking like, I can't remember if it was a hypothetical or not, but they did a good job in asking, oh, like, hey, what do you think about this book? To, like, the sales clerk, because, like, it's your job to, like, monitor what your kids, like, read and what your kids, you know, like, take in. And if, like, and if you're, like, not monitoring what your kids read, then, like, that's kind of on you, you know? And, like, parents will get mad at, like, creators and authors and stuff for what their kids read when they're not monitoring what their kids read. And, like, I get it. It might be hard to, like, keep track of, like, all the stuff that your kid is doing, but, like, your kid might like say, hey, oh, it's no big deal. But like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to like Google and say, hey, like, hey, you know, like Google it and like see what it's about. Like, if you don't trust your kid, you can always go to like Google to like go to Google and type in, what is this book about? Even if you do trust your kid, it would be pretty good to like go and fact check behind them to make sure that like it is actually for like kids, because sometimes kids might not understand to the fullest extent like what's going on. So like, even if you trust your kid, like, go behind them and check. And then like, and then people are blaming like book talk creators for like making their content or making like spicy books and like books with smut in it. It's like, it's not their fault for creating what they want to. It's a problem of kids aren't being monitored on what they read. And like, people are getting blamed for like writing stuff, and it's just like, people are being blamed for writing like books and stuff. Well, from my understanding anyway, people are like mad at like smut writers for writing their books and trying to promote it, because parents didn't do the job of checking. And they got it for their kid thinking, oh, this would be a cute read, not realizing that like it was a book for like adults. Because, oh, it has a cute cover. Just because it has a cute cover doesn't mean it's for kids. And like, back to Booktube, like, I get it, like, you have to make content like in order to like make money, and I get that you like get paid to like put your book reviews on YouTube, but like, if you don't like a book, and like, if you like don't like a book, right? I feel like there are like ways of going about it without seeming like a dick, you know? Just, I don't know. I know this video is kind of long for what I normally do, and I'm really sorry, but it just kind of pisses me off a little.